we're here. We're at a new project and we're just starting by laying out all of our footings. This one's gonna be pretty simple. We just have 12 helical piles going in. Goliathtech is already here. And the thing that makes this really simple is we have drop beams and the beams cantilever past the footing. So all we really need to make sure of is that they're in a straight line. We need to get them pretty close, but we have a lot of play with these. They don't have to be in an exact location like we have to do when we have a roof and we need footings right in the corner. So this one should be pretty quick, pretty simple, and we'll get them in. Got our plans here on the Google Drive. We've got this 2-tier deck. We have it slightly moved over when we go down to the lower deck. So I'm gonna spray those out and we'll be in business. This should go pretty quick. Already down to Celsius this morning. Woo! Yeah. I was like, come on, Lisa, this is the earliest, this is the most prepared I've ever been. They're all geared up. We have everything laid out. You see they set these pins 2 feet away from my mark, so that's their reference point that they can measure off of. Once they start drilling in that pile, our mark's gonna be gone, so they can pull off of that and make sure everything is locked in for justice and right on line. Day one.
Day one, new project.
Yeah, we got the footings in, obviously.
Yep. Lumber's here, decking's here.
We got all of that.
You were busy.
I got it all set up, so we're on to a good start already. And you're working on repairing that.
Yeah, we got a little rot issue.
Little rot issue, so you're jumping on that right out of the gate. You guys already started. Are you guys grading the lumber?
Yep.
All right, setting that up into piles, and I guess you'll probably have that done by the time you have this fixed up, and we should be ready to go. Get the laser out. Maybe I'll get the laser out while they're finishing that.
Yeah.
Get set up so we can start cutting 6x.
Yeah.
And then it's just framing.
Yeah, I would like to see the beams set in the next couple hours.
Yeah. Maybe throw up a couple joists, and then by the end of the day tomorrow, we got the whole thing framed.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Nothing's stopping us.
Nothing's stopping us. Cheers! All right, sick. Go. No, it's just me and it.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. That's how you do it right there. About to start framing, let's go!
Well, this is nice to see, right, on day one. I think this house had a paver patio with paver steps to the door. You'll see this all the time when you have paver steps to your door. This whole band was rotted out. So I'm in the part now of taking it all apart, and we're gonna rebuild it and make it new again. We're just gonna put a pressure treated 2x10 against these TGIs, and they just had OSB plywood on the bottom with siding. Never saw it before. But we're gonna put pressure treated plywood on the bottom. We'll make sure we get it all papered and flashed in correctly, and then kind of close it up temporarily because our deck is a freestanding deck and it's gonna slide right underneath of this. So I gotta make sure this is pretty much ready to go. That's about it.
Come down a little bit.
So what I'm doing now is getting my heights established. We have our ledger board up. I can get a 0 mark here, and it looks like we're at 5 3/4. So that's our reference point. Now I can go around and measure all of our helical piles, and then we can figure out how big each 6x6 needs to be under our beams, and we'll get that going. What do you think? Cool? Sick? 1/4. All right, so we have our ledger board up. We just ran 2 of our last joists and then we prop them up so that they're nice and level. We've just checked this side. Let's double check it with the old analog method. So now, what we're gonna do, you guys got that beam ready?
Yep.
All right, slide her in. Come on.
This guy. Good.
Now that we have this level, we have our beam sitting in here. Easy way to do this, figure out the height of our 6x. So now just measure from this, because we're gonna put that 6x underneath. We need to bring the beam right underneath our joist. So we got 12.5 here. 12.5. All right, we're gonna notch these 6x's. So to the bottom of the notch, this one needs to be 12.5. We'll extend up 9 inches, I guess. Oh, is he already working on it? My man. Ken?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a big strong man?
No, I just have the leverage.
I'm ready for the next measurements for the next beam. I'd rather get this beam in and cut these 2 in.
All right, build that beam. We had a couple of the piles installed just a couple inches too high. My mistake there, a little bit of an oversight, so gotta cut them down, re-drill them, set them a couple inches lower. It's only about 3 or 4 inches, but happens sometimes, you know? I don't post just to like show off. I post just so other people know that I was working out. Try and better myself a little bit.
I know. I listen to their podcast.
That's what I like to hear. What the hell's going on in this neighborhood? Whew. So we got them cut down. Now we'll just put the saddles back on there. We'll drill out some new holes. We'll put the bolts back in. We'll be good to go. We've already got the top deck almost completely framed out. Nice job here, Ant. All right, let's take a minute to talk about the design of this project because it's a pretty small footprint and we wanted to pack as much functionality as possible into this small space. So with our top deck, what we wanted to accommodate was an outdoor kitchen. So we made it just big enough to accommodate the appliances that we need, and then also on the L that shoots back to the house, we have some stool seating. So not only do you have that outdoor kitchen space, you have seating for at least 4 people up on the top deck. The rest of it is open to lead down to the lower deck, where again, we're just accommodating what we have planned for, which is a dining table. And then to add some more functionality, we've done some built-in benches to the design with a day bed. So this is the best way to pack the most amount of seating into a small space. We're gonna have seating for at least 6 people on the built-in bench and daybed, plus have room for an outdoor dining set. And that all leads down to the patio, where we have a little walkway that leads to the gate, and then we have a 13 by 13 paver patio with a fire pit in the center. We can do the 4 chairs as you see pictured, or we can do a sectional couch in the corner and add 2 more chairs. Either way you go about it, we've packed in as much functionality and as much seating as possible into this small space. So these are the kind of things that we like to think about when we design the space. Design it for what the function is. The form will follow the function, and even though we have a very small footprint here in this backyard, we are packing a whole bunch of functionality and usable space for this family. Hope you like that little explanation. This has been Design Time with me, Sean. You got it. Starting to frame up our lower deck here, and we have some very uneven terrain. There was a raised patio here, so all of that fill was kind of just spread all over and very undulating. So what I'm doing now is preparing this area for where the patio is gonna go, and we need that to be a consistent height. So I'm doing that before we get this framed up, so you know, we're not digging around it, because we still wanna make sure that the grade follows a nice even flow and everything can run towards that drainage ditch. So that's pretty much it. Why don't you tell the people what you're doing?
So we have this second deck. It's a lower deck. Both of these decks are pretty much freestanding, but I'm going to attach a ledger just to make our lives a little easier. We have, what, 3 risers?
Looks like the wrong height.
Please tell me they're still 7.5.
Yeah, 3 risers.
22.5 inches.
Maybe it's just an optical illusion.
That's good. At the top.
Sorry. Optical illusion. We set these yesterday, and I swore I did the stick and the beepy thing right, but you know. Why don't you tell them what we're doing with this ledger board?
I'm attaching it.
Yep.
So this is going to allow us to have a dedicated height for this lower deck that we can work off. It's like a benchmark.
Here, look.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Looks like you can work it.
Really? Oh, nice.
And then I'll be able to pull layout on it, get it all ready to go, get our beam heights, and we'll be rocking and rolling in no time.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's worthwhile to explain that we are doing a ledger board here on our lower deck, but this is not...
I already talked about that.
Oh, you did? What? With that?
No, in the beginning of this video. Deck, it's a lower deck. Both of these decks are pretty much freestanding, but I'm going to attach a ledger just to make our lives a little easier.
Okay. Great. So it's just like our top deck, how we anchored it into the concrete. We are just anchoring this to give us a nice even layout, but both decks are technically freestanding, so we have a beam at both connection points. So this really just makes our lives a little bit easier with the layout and the heights and getting everything level, but this is not a structural attachment. It's just going up, make our lives easier.
Yeah, smart.
You said all that?
I said, yeah, I said, I'm attaching this ledger, even though this is a freestanding deck. I'm just doing this so we have a benchmark to work off of.
Cool.
And then I went to you, I said 3 risers, right? 7.5. So I want to make sure I'm 22.5 off of this top deck, so my riser's playing out nice.
6.
Oh man, another day. What time is it? Tip time with Tony. So I have this ledger installed. I'm getting ready to pull our layout. We always start with a dedicated area with some flat blocking. I get my first layout marked, and then I gotta run 20 feet. I'm always working by myself. There's never anybody here to help me.
Business stuff.
Quick and dirty little tip. Driving now right at your layout line. Hook your tape measure and go. All the way to the end. The more you know. What are you doing? That's an at-home. That's an at-home project, bud.
Ant likes to poke fun, but I know in his head he's thinking pro move. Well, that's it for this vlog. We have this deck pretty much framed up. You can see we have a daybed bench area getting built. We have an outdoor kitchen going in, and the patio is starting to get prepped. So you're gonna have to wait for the next video to see that start coming together. So make sure you hit subscribe, stay tuned, and until next time, this is Premier Outdoor Living.